So the very last step now is to save this template. Okay, first of all, let's save it. We save it as an Excel, so you can see that we're using an Excel sheet here. But we need to save this as CSV, not Excel. We need to save it in CSV format, and that is what we're going to, and then save it with a particular name called pupils.csv. That's what the system will be looking for when you are importing. Okay, so let's do that. We have it as terrypupils.xls x, but we want to save it as CSV, so go to File and then Save As. Then here just remove this, leave it as pupils, but here on the extension choose comma separated, so this one, comma delimited. Oh, sorry about that. So comma delimited, so there it is, and we save it in the same folder, and there it is, it's saved. So now we want to go and import it. In fact, before you actually go to import, now that you've saved your CSV, you need to get rid of this line here. You need to get rid of all this first line with the columns, the column names. So select like that. Select this whole row. You go to the beginning of the rows there. You right click, you click here like that. So you select the whole row and then right click and say delete, like that. So you can see that it has removed those column names, and then you must save again. So you're saving the CSV now. You don't have to save file save as, but you've saved the CSV. So first thing, save your template as a CSV with the name pupils, just pupils. You don't need to put other names there. Just save it as pupils.csv, because you can actually also import teachers. So that's why we have to use these different names. So you can have pupils.csv, and then you can also have teachers.csv. So you import the teachers details directly, so you don't need to start adding them one by one. Okay, so we said pupils.csv, and then the next thing is remove the column names. So in case you get an error when you're importing, just remember, remove the column name. Right click and then say delete and remove. Now that you are ready to import your data, you must close this file, because if you don't close, you're going to get an error to tell you that this file is being used. I'll show you that. So let's go to our system. We go to external data, go to external data, and then you must select this one here, import pupil CSV. Alright, so if you go there, you must specify the file. Where did you save it? So go there, click browse, and we're here, and there's the file that we want, pupils.csv. If you select that and then click import, you'll get an error. Right, you get an error because that file is actually being used. So you can see the error message here says could not be opened, operating system error code, the process cannot access file because it is being used by another process. So it's because this file is open in Excel. That's why I said first you must close it. Where is it? pupils.csv is here. You must close it. Of course, if you have to modify certain things, maybe you're getting errors, then you can still open it later, but for now close it, then go back to the system and try to import it again. Okay, so here it gives us an error. See, it says system data blah blah blah, the backload failed at value in data. So it tells you the row where there's an error. So you might get issues like this, and this is it's actually nice that it's giving up and showing us these things so that we can investigate. So it tells you the row and the column number. So then you can go to this row 534 and check what is there. Okay, so let's do that. We have to open that CSV file now. So we go to so where is Terry? Yeah, it's here. So this file, this is the one that we're interested in. So we open it again in Excel. Okay, so after we open it, remember it said row 534. So you scroll down to row 534. Where's row 534? You can even do this. Go to the end. So 534, you notice that there's nothing there. This is like empty, and we don't know why it's actually even giving that error, because there's nothing there. So it could be that maybe it's thinking there's something. Yeah, we still have to try and delete stuff. Say delete. Could there be any other stuff there? No. Save it again, then close it, and then try to import again. Say OK, and then say import. Yeah, so there. So after deleting that, so it was taking it that maybe it's an extra row, but that row is empty, and the date of admission is not supposed to be empty. So now you see it tells us that it has imported. So that's how you resolve some of these things. So when you get an error message, try to read the message. It will tell you which row has a problem and which column specifically. So when you open your file, just check. You count the columns from the first one, check, oh, it's this column, and then the row number, check. It could be that maybe the date you put is wrong. You didn't type the date in the proper format. Then you change that. Usually you have issues with dates. If you get errors, they're usually about dates. So, or it could be that you missed a column that is important. For example, sex is supposed to be there and you didn't add it. Then you get an error that this is missing. But now it tells us it's done. And if you want to check, just go to enrollment, then go to in fact you can even go to the pivot table first. You go to active pupils pivot table, and you see here these are the pupils that we have in the system for each class. You can see there, you can even see that graph over there. It shows you these things. Okay, in each class you can see. So this is a list of active, and these are, if you go now, if you want to see the actual list, you can go to active pupils list here, and these are all the pupils that we have in the system. And once you have them and you add subjects and all these things, then you can start, for instance, to submit results and all that. Now that you're done with this, of course, you should be able to export, right? Like right now, I might need to send this to this school, so I'll do an actual export here. And say okay, so let me export their data, these guys, and I can click there, export everything, select everything here, and then I'll say export all data. So there we have it. So obviously when this will be done, so you can see that it opens up a file, a folder view there. Let me just expand this. So it has opened up the folder where the export is, which is that one. Once they add things like teachers and subjects, they'll obviously want to export their data to the online system, and that's where they're going to use this aspect here. So you can do this for your own school. If you have data in Excel, you don't need to start adding all these pupil names one by one. It becomes very tedious, especially if you have pupils in their thousands. It's easy, maybe you have 100, you can add them one by one by going to enrollment, and then you start adding your pupils there. You start adding them here one by one, but it's very tedious, I can assure you. Alternatively, so I'm going to show you something here. Alternatively, when if you are multiple teachers, okay, so this is one way you can add these teachers. You can add these pupils using your CSV. Okay, you add them here. Of course, another way you could do it is if you have maybe a certain number of pupils that you'd like to add manually, especially say for the online system, because we don't yet have this import on the online system. That way you could simply assign each teacher. You could assign them. So let me go to Zamed, and let's say that I log in as what is the name of this school? No. I try to type in some name like that. I do something like this. You type in that and then log in, and then when you go to enrollment, you can add pupils. So you can go to active pupils there, and you can begin to add new pupils. You know, like if you click on new, then you can start. So then you can have several people adding these pupils. So let's say you are 20 teachers, you can assign each. Okay, you add for this class, add for that, add for that class. So each one simply logs in, starts adding those details here. And when you're adding, you can start with only adding the mandatory fields. You know, like you can only add, for example, last name, date admission, current grade, the class, who is the custodian, and so only those that are marked with green. But if you have data for other things, then you add them. So if you have multiple people adding this, so it's very easy online because several people can add. If there are 20 or 60 teachers and each one adds one class, then you can do this within a very short time and you're done. Okay, but the quickest, like I said, is you can do the CSV way, add the pupils using the CSV, and then just export your data to the online system, and that's it. And you can see that it took some while, of course, preparing the data, but you can't compare this data pre-processing stage, you know, the time it takes, you can't compare it to the time it will take you to add the pupils one by one. It takes longer. It takes much longer, and that is why many schools sometimes get reluctant to start using the system, because they think of, oh, we have 1,000 pupils and adding them one by one is a lot of time. It takes a lot of time, but now we made it easy for you. So thanks a lot for your attention. If you have questions, if you happen to have issues, you're trying to import and you're having errors, please send us a message. And if you want us to help you, make sure that you first put your data in this format. At least that way we can help you in a much quicker way. Okay, so remember that you must at least put your data in this format of the template. Okay, so put your data in the format that the template is in, like this, where you have last name, first name, date of birth, and all these things. And then maybe if you're facing errors somewhere, then we can try to import it for you. But if you send us a class list which is like this, you know, with all these things, it means you're giving us too much work. We have to start formatting all this stuff, and it takes longer for us to do that. And in the future, we'll start charging. For now, we're doing it for free because we want you to use the system, and we want you to do it as fast as possible. But you can see that it's a lot of work. There are some schools with a lot of classes, maybe all the way up to 30 classes, and in each class maybe there are like 50 pupils, and so it's a lot of work to start formatting all this and doing all that work. So that's why we encourage you to do it yourselves first. Come up, fill up that template, and when you're done and you're having issues, then send us a template or maybe even the class list together, and then we try to see why there are errors when you're importing, and that's it. Good. So thanks a lot. Contact us if you have questions. Great.